Hello everyone, my name is Josh, and this is a video for the final exam project for the IDSP 410 online class for the fall 2014 semester. For this assignment, we were asked to talk about our major, which is interdisciplinary studies. For those of you who do not know what that major is, basically the major allows the individual to study in certain topic areas or subject areas. They're known as concentrations, and some of the concentrations that are offered vary from architecture to life sciences to English to psychology. There are so many different fields that someone can study in and have experience and course knowledge in. So personally, I have concentrations in business, hospitality, and communication. And it's really interesting how they are related in ways, but even the ways that they are different, they can still be put together into one whole major, such as interdisciplinary studies, and is useful for someone like me who really doesn't know what they want to do in the future, because I'm able to take a vast array of courses, which normally, if I was in one specific major, just for business, for example, if I was just in the business major, I would not be able to take some of the other classes that are really enjoyable and also useful for my future. So first I'll start talking about just the business concentration. Business is important, as many people know. Business is all around us. Business is constantly growing, and in today's world, you need good knowledge of business if you want to be successful, because it seems like 9 times out of 10, whatever job or career you do end up receiving, you will be using some sort of business knowledge, whether you realize it or not. So, luckily for me, some of the things that I've learned in the classroom, in the business classroom, I was able to use in my real life at my job, which is in a part of the business world. So it was interesting seeing how some of the applications that we learned in the classroom are useful in the outside world. So one example was in a marketing class that I had taken. We were working in groups, and we had to interview someone from a business. We interviewed someone from Marshalls, which is a department store. We were able to talk to some of the managers there about their marketing strategies and how they developed in the beginning and how they continue to change them as time goes on, because marketing changes, people change, products change, locations. So all these things are factored in to how the whole marketing works at any business. So it was really cool being able to work with a bunch of people in the class and being able to get some really good insight by speaking and having an informational interview with some of the people that work in the marketing industry or marketing field. So I can say I did learn a lot, and it was really cool being able to, like I said, use some of the classroom material that we have learned in the real world. And I think the project with the interview and learning how marketing is really used was useful, because I can use that knowledge and experience in the future for other classes, such as management or pretty much any other field in business. Because in business, the best way to learn sometimes is to talk to people who have a lot of experience. You can learn some things from a textbook, but some things you just have to learn, in a hands-on sort of way. So being able to talk to people and learn from them, first person is sometimes the best way to learn and develop your own skills and your strengths. So, and like I said, business is very important. So that's why I thought that that concentration would be very useful, and I believe I will use it in the future, and hopefully I plan to expand on it and have more vast knowledge of the whole business field in general. Okay, so secondly, we're going to talk about hospitality. Hospitality is similar in many ways to the business field, but then there are some very different aspects as well. So hospitality is more geared toward the service industry, I guess you would say, instead of, say, manufacturing. So it's important to be able to work with others, such as coworkers, and be able to work for the customers or the clients in the service industry. So this is why I thought hospitality would be another useful field of study for the future. So in hospitality, I've taken several classes in that field as well, and I actually really enjoy um, the classes and the field. Um, I would say that the hospitality industry continues to grow, and I believe it will continue to grow in the future. So with that being said, I think that for many individuals in the field of study, there is a bright future just in that specific um, career path, I guess you could say, because As the industry continues to expand and all the sectors involved continue to expand, more work needs to be done and more people will be needed. So having good knowledge and especially experience in the field will help you further yourself for the future. I mean, there are so many different sectors of the hospitality industry, everything from hotels to cruise ships to restaurants to bars, and all these things pretty much coincide with one another in one way or another. But having different and diverse experience within the field can really give you an upper hand for the future, because if you have experience, say, in the restaurant industry and you needed to go to a hotel, you could use some of that experience to your advantage at the hotel, because the hotel has a bar and has a restaurant and has different aspects that if you have knowledge of, you can expand on and you can better yourself and you can better the organization, which is a great thing for employers to hear, because they're always looking to better themselves as well, and they want to look good. So if they have someone working for them and they know what they're doing, they're going to look good, you're going to look good, and everyone's happy. Alright, so next we're going to talk about communications. Communications was probably my favorite concentration out of the three. Um, it is useful. I don't think it's as useful or as practical as some of the other ones for someone like me, because I don't know if I'm going to work specifically in just the communications field in the future. I see myself going more towards a business or hospitality field, but communications is definitely useful. Um, it was definitely a lot of fun, and I was able to work with my hands in most of the classes. That was one really great thing about the communications field. Um, you were able to take the applications that you learned in class and then work in a lab of some sort, or use it practically and in a production class, for example. So some examples are film, TV, radio, and some of the other things are such as advertising. You're able to take the lecture classes, so you're having information from the lectures, and incorporate them into projects and productions that basically you and people within the class make on your own, which is really cool. Just last week, actually, for my radio class, group of the students and myself, we finished our radio show, and it was really cool seeing the whole process of what's involved and what it takes to record the radio show and edit the radio show and put it together. And it was really uh, it was a great deal of satisfaction after the fact when the project was done, sitting down with them and being able to hear the radio show and really see all the hard work that we put in and the end result, which came out really well. I mean, the same thing for TV or film. It's really cool being able to see the project and share it with others, and you're really able to use your imagination and become very creative when it comes to the production of these different types of media. So I would really enjoy a job or career in the future in that field, but at the same time, I feel like I will be able to use some of those skills that I've learned and some of that knowledge in the other concentrations that I've studied in, and vice versa. If I were to work for, say, a media company, I would be able to use my practical production skills that I've learned, but I would also be able to use my background in business or even hospitality to help further myself within the organization and also for the organization as a whole. All right. Excuse me. Next, we're going to talk about why the interdisciplinary studies major as a whole makes the person better well-rounded as compared to someone who just studies in one specific area. So, for example, if someone just studies in, let's say, psychology, they're pretty restricted to that one field, and they will study just subjects within that field, different types of psychology, maybe things related to psychology, such as sociology or even philosophy, some of like the humanities, different fields of study there. Whereas someone who's an interdisciplinary studies major can really have a diverse coursework, diverse knowledge, diverse experience because of that. So where else can you find someone who's going to, who has the ability to, you know, study in, say, life sciences and English and architecture? You don't really see that often. Some people would, do a triple major of sorts which could take years and would be very, very difficult to complete. But the interdisciplinary studies major would allow that person to study and have a good foundation in each of those subjects of study, and be able to further themselves in the future if they decided to continue in a specific field, for example. So this is why I think that the interdisciplinary studies major is important, because from an employer's perspective, seeing someone as well-rounded and has good diverse knowledge is important, because they'll be able to tackle different challenges and be able to complete different jobs that, say, someone who only has, you know, knowledge in one area would not necessarily be able to do. So the interdisciplinary studies major really makes someone malleable, I guess you could say, because they're able to adapt and work in different environments where other people may not necessarily have that same advantage. Now, on the flip side, some people say that the interdisciplinary studies major is not so good because you don't really have a major per se, because you have three different areas of study, but you don't really have full knowledge of just one area, say architecture, for example. Yes, that is true in a way, but at the same time, the world is always changing, especially as we move toward the future. We see that the world is constantly changing every day. So having a lot of knowledge in one area is very useful, but I think having a good foundation and having vast knowledge in different areas is more useful, because the world will change and continue to change, and being able to adapt and being able to think in different perspectives in different areas is important. So just on that reasoning alone, I believe that the interdisciplinary studies major is very important, and that yes, it is good to have full knowledge of one subject, but having a good foundation in several subjects makes you more well-rounded, and employers, I think, will really commend that in a way, and they'll really see that you can offer a lot just because of your different course knowledge. Um, I believe that's pretty much it. I'll just do a little recap. The interdisciplinary studies major is very useful because people people need to be able to adapt and change to different situations, and it shows that, you know, they can have good experience and good knowledge, and that will help further them in the future. It'll give them kind of a jump start, I guess you could say, for the future, where someone who has just, you know, one major in one specific field of study, they would kind of be restricted in some situations because they only have knowledge in the one area, and they can really only think in that one perspective. Whereas someone who can think in different perspectives and can adapt to different situations because they have different course experience, such as the business world or the hospitality world, even communications. And then they are able to use their hands-on experience, such as creating different types of media and different types of productions, or having experience in the hospitality industry and working with people. They're able to take these things and put them all together. And I think for an employer, this would be very important, and they would really think that you would be a vital asset to a specific company or organization. I'm not saying that people that have one major is a bad thing. I think that's great. I mean, having great knowledge in one area is really good. But I think that the fact that you can have diverse knowledge in different areas and be able to apply that in your own life experiences and in the future, and then having someone like myself who really doesn't know what they want to do in the future, being able to incorporate those two things together really makes the major a good thing. I want to wish everyone a very happy and healthy holiday season, and thank you very much.